Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's yours truly. I'm still here. I'm still making videos. I've been incredibly busy doing home renovations, and I also built a brand new workbench. I'm going to be showing that off hopefully by the end of the week. I'm just building the drawers. I got to paint them and all that stuff. So when I'm done, and I can't wait to show it off. But let's just dive into the video and talk about the fundamentals of thread lockers. There's different types of brands, of course. I personally love Permatex. I come from the car world, so this is what I use. Not all thread lockers are the same. There's different types of thread locker based on what it is you're going to be using the thread locker on. So I use 3 thread lockers for the majority of my builds. In the event that I need it, I'll get something a little bit more extreme, but we won't talk about that till later. So first off, what we have here is the purple thread locker, or the low strength thread locker. This is commonly used on optic mounts, scope rings, and every now and then small accessories on the firearm like lights or lasers, or you know, things similar to that, especially if you get more of those like budget friendly you know, lights or lasers like from like Barska or UTG or Defentech or something along those lines. You would sometimes, you know, people report like the screws kind of back out, they don't really set, you know, they don't really stay in place. Well, this is what you would use the purple or low strength thread locker. And here's another one from Wheeler Engineering. Yeah, I got this one for free, and it works really well. This is specifically for optic mounts, or the you know, scope rings, the screws associated with that, and that's really the only place that you would use the low strength thread locker that comes to mind. So let's go ahead and set that aside. Let's talk about the medium strength thread locker. Now, if you're not entirely sure how to apply thread locker, well, there's a little graphic here, and that's generally what you want it to look like when you go ahead and you know, torque down a screw and you apply thread locker. Before you do that, this is what it'll look like. So this is medium strength. Now, when do you use the medium strength thread locker? Every now and then, but not common. You can use it on certain accessories, but the majority of the time, 99.9% of the time, you're going to be using it on something like this, the AR-15 handguard, or whatever kind of handguard that you have, because there's screws all around the handguard, you know, that keep it in place, keep it from moving, so you have a, you know, a very sturdy firearm. However, when you fire a gun, it's a very violent process. The whole gun shakes, it vibrates, you know, there's literally a fireball coming out of the gun. And this does tend to sometimes back out certain screws, especially, you know, what's it called? The handguards that are like maybe not on the lower end, but more budget friendly. But you can mitigate that. You can reduce that or outright eliminate the chances of these backing out by applying medium strength thread locker. You know, once it's on there, it's on there. However, it's not permanent. These can be removed with the appropriate tools. So if you have like the appropriate, you know, like these T-handle, you know, wrenches or hex keys, you're gonna be fine. It will come out, and if you want to make it very, very easy, you know, put the heat gun on it for, you know, maybe like a minute or two, and you'll be okay. They'll come out real easily. And also, when you go and buy something like Permatex, if you look at the back of the box, there's all sorts of useful information in case you're not entirely sure which thread locker that you need. So you have the low strength here, you got the medium strength here, you got a permanent strength here. That's not what you want. No. You got high temp, high strength, high temperature, and you got all sorts of other useful information too. Like we got the maximum temperature, the common applications. This is very useful information. So yeah, when would you use this type of thread locker, or what does this thread locker do? It tells you right here, and also when to apply. That's very useful information. The majority of the time, it's going to be before assembly, except for this last one here where it's penetrating grade thread locker. I don't know what that is or what that does. That goes a little beyond what I do or what the majority of firearm people do. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's important. So that is medium thread locker. Also, something very important to know. Do not ever apply any thread locker. Doesn't matter if it's low strength, medium strength, or high strength. Do not apply it to the actual lower receiver or the upper receiver. And of course, I am talking about the threads on there, the receiver extension thread or the barrel threads. Do not put them on the gun. It is wrong. 100% wrong to do that. I'm going to repeat that again. Do not put any sort of Loctite, any sort of Permatex, any sort of whatever on the threads on the lower upper receiver. Any of the threads. The only thing that needs to go on that gun, on your lower and upper receiver, is Aeroshell. That is it. Anyone says otherwise, they are wrong, and I will debate you till the cows come home. And then when I win, the cows will come home. All right, so let's talk about the last thread locker. High temperature thread locker. Now, this is what you would use for the gas block. The gas block gets insanely hot. Screws can and do back out. And that can be catastrophic for the function of your firearm and maybe cause injury or death. Not trying to scare you, but if you install this thing at home and you don't do it right, it can be catastrophic for the firearm, or the gun will simply not work. Most of the time, the gun just does not work. High temperature thread locker can withstand quite a bit of heat. Let's see what the heat strength is for high temperature thread lockers. So 450 degrees. That is really damn hot. And the guns get really damn hot, especially out here in Vegas in the desert. They're already hot. You need to wear gloves when you're out firing your gun recreationally because it's so damn hot. Is it going to be 400 degrees? No. Is it going to be hot as hell? Yes. Is it going to get extremely hot when you shoot? Yes. Is high temperature thread locker appropriate for the majority of firearm owners? Yes. Most people aren't dumping thousands of rounds a month. Most people don't even go shooting, once every few months. They have a gun for self-defense, or they want to build one gun for self-defense and, maybe take it out once in a blue moon. High temperature thread locker is going to be appropriate for you. It is going to be more than enough. If you're going to be dumping like 6 mags at once, maybe, something more extreme. I don't have it here on hand. Something more extreme would be rock set. And I think the maximum temperature for that is about 600 degrees. And again, most people just don't do that. A lot of people do that, and rock set will be more than enough. However, when you build a firearm, you want to build it dry. So you're going to build it the way that it was intended to be built, and then you're going to come back and you're going to apply your thread locker to the scope rings, the optic mounts. You're going to put the blue thread locker on the handguard, and then you're going to put your red thread locker on the gas block. Of course, not in that order. You're going to do it in the right order, but you get what I'm saying. And that's essentially it. Now, if you're going to be like competition shooting, this might be like a duty rifle, and maybe you're not entirely comfortable completely relying on a high temperature red thread locker or something similar to this. I would just recommend going to an armor, going to a gunsmith and saying, hey, I want my barrel dimpled. I want my gas block pinned. So it's going to be in there, and it's going to be, pretty much permanent and well, not permanent, but it's not going to go anywhere. It ain't going to back out. It's the best way to do it. But and if you have an SBR or an AR pistol configuration, maybe it is appropriate to use rock set. Maybe it is appropriate to just bypass this and go straight for the pinned gas block, the dimpled barrel. It really depends. I have an AR pistol from Spike's Tactical, and they did me the courtesy of pinning my gas block because the barrel is about 8 inches, and the shorter the barrel, generally speaking, I'm speaking in generalities here, generally speaking, shorter rifles or AR pistols, they tend to be a little bit more violent. They tend to shake a little bit more just because of the size of the barrel, among other things. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is the fundamentals of thread locker. Of course, I stated earlier, you can use all kinds of thread locker. There's a lot of brands out there, a lot of really good ones. I think like Loctite's really great. I've used Loctite in the past. I think on computer and different hardware. But for the most part, I trust Permatex. That's just a personal preference. I'm not making one claim or another about one brand or another. That's just me. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any specific questions and you need help, of course I'm in Discord. You can always holler at me there. All the relevant links are in the description. I am one of the few gun channels on alternative tech. I am on Minds.com, Bitchute, LBRY. I am not going to stop. I am going to continue to be making content on these platforms because I believe in freedom and freedom of speech. This is the fundamentals. And yeah, I'd like to hear maybe what's your process? What's your thought process in regards to thread lockers on firearms? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're healthy. God bless. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so I just want to say thank you to all the troops as I'm making this video. Thank you. Peace out.